The Hall of Crowns was not meant to be so silent. Its walls, once echoing with the clamor of battle, now stood solemnly, a monument to a peace as tentative as the tremble of early frost. Lord Cedric Wainwright gazed at the tapestries that whispered the haunting tales of better kings and worse betrayals. It was there, amid the ghosts of heritage, that Cedric received the call. Not a shout, but the soft, conspiratorial murmur of a housemaid. She spoke of Aegon's Signet, a lost artifact steeped in the blood and glory of Westeros's past. They whispered that the Signet held the power to bind or break kingdoms, a talisman for the worthy, or a curse for the weak. Yet in Cedric's ears, it was not the gilt-edged allure of power that beckoned, but a chance for redemption. For he bore the weight of betrayal like an old scar. He needed this, needed to prove that honor could blossom even from seeds sown in ash. "Are you yet a dreamer, Cedric?" Lady Nyra asked over a cup of bitter ale. "I thought war bled the dreams from you as it did the rest of us." Her voice held the crack of derision, yet her eyes told of battles unforgotten. "Perhaps this is how my dreams unstitch the wounds," Cedric replied, his voice coarse with resolve. A sense of purpose rekindled in his chest, a flame long since snuffed by the fatigue of endless struggles. Outside, the snow fell softly, burying secrets better left unseen. The journey would not be easy. Beyond the wall lay perils no army could conquer, but the way he saw it, they had already ventured beyond hope, into a future not yet penned. As the night deepened, Cedric found his resolve hardened into resolve. Destiny lay not in speeches or songs, but in choices shaped by one's own hand. He committed, even knowing the culprits of past mistakes lingered within his bones. In the chill depths of the stormwood, where trees clawed upward like the embrace of vengeful gods, a rogue priestess wandered. Nyra bore an aura of mystery, for her reputation was woven with threads of rebellion and whispered secrets of forgotten sorcery. She had seen the flames flicker with foreboding, casting shadows reminiscent of a grand tapestry of long-lost power. She found Cedric not in the arrogance of a lord, but in the subdued bearing of a man reborn. His plea to her was fervent, sincerity raw in its appeal. "There's a light in you, Nyra," Cedric admitted candidly, "a light this gloomy world has need of." "Light," she countered, eyes alight with mirth. "If I am light, Lord Wainwright, it is the effervescent kind that dances before storms. But let us be honest. I crave secrets of the past, as children do sweetmeats." At their meeting's end, she ascended to Cedric's quest, roguish eyes fixated on untold knowledge buried in the North's unyielding flesh. If truth thrived in legends, she must follow where even the bravest dared not tread. They ventured next to the last hearth, a cold keep overlooking the bleak expanse of the northern frontier. The Ravenkin there spoke of tales beyond the wall, of wildlings touched by visions. Among them, Erek Stormpaw stood solitary but resolute, his eyes like glass reflecting ancient winters long ago. "I see the past, but the future remains opaque," Erek said. "Both are deadly, as prophecies demand blood." With nothing more than an eager nod, Erek joined their burgeoning fellowship, carrying the weight of ancestral lore that promised danger and clarity. The fellowship grew, not from the force of declaration, but from whispered hopes tethered to the winds that clawed at the northern skies, each soul seeking something beyond survival. As they readied, the storm burst upon Westeros, a tempest both literally and figuratively, harbinger of an unforetold journey. At first light, the fellowship gathered beyond the massive northern gates of Castle Black, the shadows of their pasts lingering like ominous phantoms amid the rising curtain of dawn. Not a word passed between them as they gazed upon the frost-kissed expanse of the uncharted north, their path lined with both peril and promise. "Are you merely the sum of your scars, or might you be something more?" asked a humorous voice amidst their quiet reverie. It was a sellsword they called Tybold, marked by prophecy and haunted by the specters in his dreams. His blade had carved out his future, but it was his past that stitched fear into his fate, a king's death foreseen in dreams that still echoed. "Do you defy fate, Tybold?" queried Cedric, his brow furrowed in thought. "I forge it," Tybold replied, as though the weight of the world rested light upon his shoulders. "And in this venture lies a key, a way to mold destiny in our hands. Let not the specter hold dear those things we cherish." As the party ventured into the wilderness, the world beyond the wall revealed its harsh majesty. The snow swirled with sentience, each flake a fleeting messenger of past suffering and forgotten glory. Here the rules of gods and men were defied by the spirits that dwelt between shadows and ice. Cedric could not help but feel as though they had crossed into an ancient, awakened thing that watched with indifferent power. They moved as a single heartbeat against the encroaching desolation, the cold forging bonds otherwise unknown within the warmth of firelight or the comforts of hearth. The wildling wove them tales as they trekked, stories of victories and vices, forging iron from the blood they spilled. Stepping into what seemed a derelict village, they felt the air thicken with expectation. The village, like breath held too long in a beast's throat, unveiled its mysterious veneer, a harbinger of the trials yet to savor their resolve. It was here, in forgotten ruins and beneath the watchful gaze of ancient trees, that their resolve would be tested, a merit worthy of heroics or the doom in which even led. Their campfire crackled feebly against the encroaching night, casting flickering shadows that danced upon the darkened forest floor. Beyond the faint glow, a silence hung heavy, punctuated only by the distant howl of a lone wolf, a lament for the moons gone past. "Here," Nyra murmured, drawing a sigil in the air, the flames momentarily blazing brighter in response. Magic coursed through her veins, a touch as intoxicating as it was forbidden. Her companions exchanged wary glances, for power unrestrained often led to ruin. Yet Nyra wielded her gift with an enviable grace, bending its will to hers but tethered always to the promise of restraint. Erek, arms crossed against the cold, shared his dread of nightmares walking in the wake of their trek. "There's something prowling at the edges, an old presence beyond my visions. It stirs as we draw near, and I fear the snows shall reveal our dreams." Cedric, feeling the weight of leadership, spoke calmly. "Fear is a cloak, heavy when worn too long. Unclasp the hood and let the night hear your voice. We are but travelers in its shadows." In mutual understanding they fortified their camp, peering into the gloom where intentions often cloak themselves in misleading forms. It was there on that lonesome eve that they spoke not of heroics but of vulnerabilities stripped bare. The fire branded them more than kin. The wind brought unseen eyes, pale specters who watched with interest, cruel or curious. Only time would tell. Their resolve, once hardened, now wavered with the silver traces of doubt threading through the night. Erek's rhythmic chanting accompanied the wind song, his words an incantation formed of summers past. He chanted softly, as one might whistle to a strange companion, whose motives whispered unfathomable. The world beyond the flames loomed deeper, unwelcoming, yet hauntingly beautiful in its terrible vastness. Here, amid ensnaring woodland, every tree a watchtower, every snowflake a frozen eye, an awakening stirred. Such were the threats they now faced, not in peaceful hearth, but in the bosom of a land untamed. In the pale light of dawn, a hulking mountain peppered with treacherous paths loomed before them, a wild god watching from on high. To cross the threshold was to leave the known world and step into lore both whispered and shouted from the hearts of blind seers. The ascent proved merciless, tested by the ghostly whisper of wetted ice, echoing across stony ridges. Tybold cursed with every step, his breath billowing like smoke from a dragon's maw. His jesting demeanor fell silent, replaced by grim determination as the land rose, its jagged teeth ready to devour the unwary. Nyra, undeterred, led the way through billowing snowdrifts, her enchantments forging a path where none existed. Her magic was a fickle ally, as if the land itself hesitated before bending to her will. Cedric marveled at their worn faces, each a testament to histories untold but read aloud in every wrinkle and scar. A king atop his lonely hill, he mused inwardly, is but a man unfit to climb the mountain. Naivete drifted away like wisps of cloud, the climb demanding endurance of spirit and flesh. Cedric understood at last the scars hid better men than he first assumed. As they reached a plateau, their eyes beheld a sight both wondrous and foreboding, an ancient altar crusted with time's passage, veiled by a lattice of ice. The throbbing, palpable energy emanated from its core, beckoning with a promise as sweet as it was poisonous. Erek approached with quiet reverence, tracing runes with frost-bitten fingers. "Here," he whispered, "the past breathes its final breath, languishing in the memory of long-lost guardians." Having crossed the threshold, their uncertainties solidified in prophecy, a convergence of time and trial. With each breath, secrets lay within reach. Yet each heartbeat risked the ruin of some unspoken pledge whispered by the cold cruelty of fate. By ancient design, they had crossed its path, the first trial marking not an ending but the poignant echo of beginnings still unrealized, yet to test both loyalty and resolve. The air thickened, carrying hints of ancient power as the fellowship circled the venerable altar, its presence a shadow encasing their souls in unease. Eyes turned north, where whispers of the untamed seemed to draw forth images of battles fought on the Hun's edge, etched with frost. Erek, hands trembling slightly, held the weight of the artifact, seeking to discern the whispers imprinted upon the chronicled runes. "Here lies history," he murmured, but also future weighed in uncertain hands. His voice, hoarse with revelation, echoed across icy perch. The rope of destiny wound tighter, binding each of them toward purposes they dared not utter aloud yet feared to deviate from. In silence, Nyra fed hopes upon embers of forbidden knowledge, her own intentions twisting like serpents in the tall grass. Upon Tybold's countenance, shadows played their song of doubt, teasing the boundaries tentatively set by fate's whims. Was this the future I dreamed of, he wondered silently, or the death of all I hold dear? A journey seemingly without end, interwoven with riddles not yet answered. Cedric's gaze fell distant, but thoughts burned like fire at his soul, where fear and honor danced. For every step towards redemption, 1,000 sins haunt my every heartbeat. I dare not misstep for the sake of those I defend. While decisions intertwined and diverged, the altar's surrounding air vibrated with pulsated grace, threading the needle of potential relinquished only with time's allowance. Here, in the alpenglow's fading light, lies the start of an odyssey, whose rules are written in the tongues of men drunk on legend. As dusk surrendered to nightfall, the fellowship's purpose lay engraved less in anticipation than in mutual belief, signified by firelit eyes. Against tomorrow's biting winds, the frozen march would press forward, into territories fiercely guarded by beasts older than myth, and reach for secrets sacred and dangerous, untamed by the lawful hands of lords or kings. Their circle stood firm, made complete by bonds forged through shared acquaintance, as they set once more toward a destiny yet unveiled. In quiet resolve, they waged this war, a campaign not against men, but with history itself, a test only bitter destiny wove. Morning took its leave as a veil of blue settled upon the world, its pallor reflecting the desolate beauty of their crossing, a crystalline dream inscrutable beneath mortal understanding. All around them loomed frozen monoliths of ice and time, unnaturally perched as if by mischief disappeared and set to trapping those who dared intrude. Nyra had been first to tread the unkindled snow, her footfalls soft against the hush of another storm endeavoring to gather its faculties. Each step sent tendrils of anticipation crawling up her spine, filling her mind with haunting currents awash in weary memories. A shadow balanced Tybold's agile form atop an ice-clad deck. Like the entity within his dreams, he feared and embraced destiny equally, his balance inextricably entwined. Yet at the heart of this gathering gloom, he could almost taste the iron tang of fate, fled inevitable from its cage. "I sense secrets," he confided under concealed breath, retreating into the comfort of camaraderie, "but I know not what they reveal. Whispers have walked beside us, ushahidi from spirits long departed." The group's grimace mirrored his own, for witchcraft carried a voice louder than action. "Here, our journey bore no respect for thieves," Cedric chimed gravely. "We are trespassers upon an existence ill-fused with tamed aspirations. Perhaps we shed blood to stake our claim, as with all tales driven by glory. But amid enveloped wonder and stoic resolve, something stirred beyond definition, a haunting ethereality crowned in potential and deceit, longing to meet wits in exchange. A trance of sorts, Erek concluded, his visage forgotten within smoke's embrace, as though subsequently retained. As the expedition moved forth, treacherous ice morphing underfoot, an immortal riddle forever sounds. There, adrift beneath glacial stillness within entombed pages, and relentless it would dance, accompanied always by mighty sentences. Thus they wove their course amidst wilderness and between shadows, for each their own redemption, and knowledge that their deeds would codify revolution, vested within legends less forgotten, but stories in pursuit of their gravest nemesis. Amidst relentless storm breath, an all-encompassing symphony, raised by winds, whispering rhythms along barren expanses, they pressed onward. In their carousel of bonds worn thin, strength boomed beneath threat's embrace, tethered to dreams of more than mere survival. Tybold took to laughter, a hollow echo bouncing forth, promising gratitude to be paid only in kindred spirit. Victory lay not within blade or brawn alone, but within the riddles of chance gifted freely, sightlessly buried where sight was daunted. The camaraderie of shelter beyond flesh and withered existence granted him further resolve, a faith born in tempests used as instrument rather than incantation. A horizon of bounds to be met or ignored lay eternally whispering both to him and those alongside whom he branded the immutable. Their collective breath lent vigor not just to Cedric's solid convictions, but to entanglements which, layer upon layer, endangered lines consciously marked. Perhaps all along, Cedric avowed, I sought duty amid walls raised yet witness lacked. Surely the sentinel tolling my victories would rise here alone. But what lands behind fear screen and meter stone awaited, no soul yet gathered fully to manifest. Past one glory's disruption waved as brightly, as daringly as memories of another unwritten. Beyond mere mortal whims, a chilling precipice harbored ideals rethought. Proclamations stirred by ghosts of discovery bereft that always spoke more than voices lent to renewal. Amid chaos now assembled stood unity unbridled, wrapped in history, older than belief, underpinning strength of purpose, both choices gone wise and foolishly received. Their way walked sponsorless while alliance thrived vainless, where no path led onward. But forward those with remembrances chosen, untainted, knew solace naught but its false primacy. To where dreams gravitated manifest, weary eyes unable to escape revelations sealed beneath once untended ignorance, to whisper guidance sought by others, ignored or heeded. Theirs was a world bloodied yet alive, its heart told true by convictions born raw and fierce beneath feigned timber, thus dispersing the distance between what men owned sworn and what could only perch untended amidst dreams. Theirs, claiming starbound surprising, soon bereft both wrought